today.
Imagine a healthier, more active, physically fit version of yourself. If you've been putting off getting into shape, now is the time with the Farrell's Extreme Body Shaping 10-Week Challenge. Our program combines kickboxing, strength training, and nutrition coaching to help you achieve your fitness goals. And ticket listeners, you can get $150 off your enrollment. The next 10-week challenge begins on April 12th. You can get all the info at fxblincoln.com. Don't wait any longer. Farrell's Extreme Body Shaping at 40th and Yankee Hill and 70th and Vine.
Big box stores are tempting for buying equipment for your high schooler in sports or for yourself in your sports leisures. But buying new is awfully expensive. Why not go somewhere with new and used options? Play It Again Sports has quality, slightly to gently used equipment, and 50% of their inventory is actually new equipment. And it's more than baseball, softball, and golf. They also have equipment for disc golf, fitness, hockey, and more. Plus, they're always buying products. Bring your gear you're done with and get trade money on the spot. Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine. Garage doors can break down or quit working at the worst times. At Doors Plus, they understand that a broken garage door sometimes means repair and not replace. Sometimes, all you need to make your door like new again is a few bolts, a realignment, or even a new balance. Trust the pros at Doors Plus to handle your garage door repair the right way so you can get on with your busy schedule. Visit them online at DoorsPlusLLC.com or give them a call today at 402-590-5800. Doors Plus, garage doors and more.
At Farm Bureau Financial Services, we strive to provide you with the right coverages for all your insurance needs by taking the time to meet with you and review what coverages best fit your needs. So whether you're in the market for home, auto, farm, business, life, or a combination of any of these coverages, we can help with making sure you, your family, or your business have the right coverage based on your individual needs. If you would like to review your insurance needs, please contact Ben Spurt with Farm Bureau Financial Services at 402-217-9945 or through email at ben.spurt@fbfs.com.
What's it take to be a mentor with big brothers, big sisters? It takes 30 minutes and a cup of coffee. A video game, best 2 out of 3. It takes sharing thumbs up emojis, clapping emojis, and loaded nachos at halftime. That's how you make an impact on a young kid's life. So go on, share a few hours a month, because mentorship may sound huge, but the truth is, it takes little to be big. To learn more, volunteer, or donate, go to BeBigNow.org.
Your home is your empire. Protect it with Empire Fence. Get a free instant quote with the online estimating tool at empire-fence.com. See an upfront estimate with no hidden fees. An Empire Fence can provide privacy and improve the appearance of your home. Keep kids and pets in or out of your yard. Increase security and add value to your property. Visit empire-fence.com now to view the stylish and maintenance-free possibilities for your home and get a free instant online quote. Let Empire Fence protect your empire.
Wall to Wall Wine and Spirits is your place in North Lincoln to go for all your needs in wine, spirits, and beer. They also have a large variety of cigars in their walk-in humidor, and they have a top-notch walk-in temperature-controlled high-end wine room. Plus, you can enjoy free samples from their tasting bar. There's only one place to go for all your needs for spirits and cigars. That's Wall to Wall Wine and Spirits on North 27th Street in Lincoln. When you need a new water heater, nothing beats the ProLine family of water heaters from A.O. Smith. ProLine models are built using commercial-grade components, meaning they're built to help you tackle your toughest days. No matter if you need a gas or electric model, A.O. Smith has a ProLine unit for you. A.O. Smith, innovation has a name. Call Bryant at 402-467-1111 for a great deal on a water heater today. Again, that's 402-467-1111.
Ever wish you had another light switch on the other side of the room on a dark night? How much better would you sleep at night if you had a ceiling fan in your room? The High Electric Service Department is here to make your electrical what-ifs a reality. Whether you're looking to replace some outdated light fixtures or brighten up your counters with under-cabinet lighting, High Electric can handle all types of residential electrical installations and services. Give Erica a call today at 402-466-6606 or visit high-electric.com to get started.
This is the Adam Carriker Show.
Position right of the quarterback, out of the shotgun, 1st and 20. Jailbreak screen in the air. It is tipped. It is intercepted by Carriker at the Missouri 21-yard line.
Live from the heart of Lincoln, America, 8-year NFL vet and All-American defensive lineman Adam Carriker.
Shotgun snap to Everidge. He's got the left arm going, and now he's got a whole lot of Adam Carriker, who rips him down inside the 25-yard line.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Here is your host, Adam Carriker.
Steve Spurrier on the Georgia-South Carolina game moving from week 2. And I quote, "I don't know. I sort of always like playing them that second game because you could always count on them having 2 or 3 key players suspended." End quote. Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, to the Adam Carriker Show here on 93.7 The Ticket. You guessed it, it's a loaded show. Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Central Time. Grab your lunch. Come join us. What you're going to hear is Husker sports, college football, sports in general. What you're going to get is unique insight, unbridled honesty, and producer Jake and I are going to have a whole lot of fun in the process. We got a quick Husker sports roundup, a little bit of Jordy Ball news, gymnastics news, and other news, recruiting news. Recruiting maybe not what we had hoped. We'll see. We're going to dive into it. Rocco Spindler says that Nebraska's more talented than Notre Dame. Kool-Aid? Is the Kool-Aid spiked? What is this? Is he right? What is going on with that? Mark Manny's going to join us at 11:30. Dylan Raiola is looking a little slimmer to me. I'm just saying. He's looking a little slimmer to me. Tyson Terry's going to join us at 12:30. And Rule and I think 2 to 3 players are going to be doing a press conference after their second spring practice, which will end at 11:30. So we will be reacting to the press conference news as it comes out. Like, seriously, Jake, holy Moses Malone, every day is so insanely. Is that just me trying to pump up the show? Because I feel like, I'm like, oh my God, how are we going to get this all in 2 hours? Like, that's how I feel. Do you feel like it's just insanely loaded every day? It's crazy.
Well, yeah, like, I mean, we talk about even after the show every day how, okay, well, tomorrow's show's, I mean, we've got a plan.
Pretty much know what half of it is. I told my wife before Monday, because this was a crazy weekend. She goes, "Do you got stuff to talk about?" I go, "Ange, nothing could happen all week. And I have 4 2-hour shows in my phone and on my computer. Like, nothing could happen this week, and we've got an insane amount of content. Let's light this counter right out the gate. Nebraska pitcher Jordy Ball is the Big Ten pitcher of the week. She posted a 0.00 ERA. Jake, that's very good if you didn't know. And allowed 1 hit in 8 1/3 innings in the Huskers series sweep over Minnesota. The Gophers had this is very bad, Jake, .0777 hitting percentage versus Ball. Well, it's very good for us, very bad for them. She also earned the honor on February 18th. Little unknown factor, not unknown, but not known well enough, which is why we're going to talk about it here. Do you all know that Andy Jackson, volleyball player, finished the 2024 season ranked 6th in the entire Division I of volleyball players for hitting percentage? Top 6 in the entire country. And a lot of these players I'm going to start talking about are guys and gals that are coming back next year. She's going to be back in 2025. Rink Mast. How big of a deal was Nebraska keeping Rink Mast, the former all Big Ten center who was out this past year? Unfortunately, due to injury, will be back next year. That had to be like the number one thing on the top of their to-do list was retain Rink Mast. They were able to do that. He will be back next year. Quick thoughts on that before we move on, Jake.
Oh, yeah, like you said, it's absolutely huge. It had to be, the top of their checklist this offseason. They did lose Adam Howard, one of their assistant coaches. So there's going to be some movement. We know that, transfer portal opening. But Rink Mast, that's a building block. And I don't know, it's someone to build around, right? That's kind of like getting Bryce Williams and Juwan Gary back and then building around them. Rink Mast is that type of player. Maybe not quite to the ceiling of what Bryce was able to do this last year, but we'll see. And so, with those other pieces that are coming back, Connor Esesian, Barricade, Hoiberg, those are good pieces. But now with Rink, you've got the center of the foundation of what you can build on.
The legit center. Yeah, that's what you've got. Well, with losing Juwan Gary and Bryce Williams, if you don't bring Rink back, because we were already talking about how, man, they've got to. By the way, the transfer portal opened on Monday in college basketball. Like, hey, we're in the middle of the NCAA tournament. Let's open the portal. Let's make it possible for players to play on a Sunday and leave on a Monday. Oh, by the way, hey, guys, we're playing Thursday. Are you going to be here Thursday? Or are you going? Where are we at with that? Are you guys going to be on the team when I go out to coach this team on Thursday? What's that look like? Kind of like, I don't know, college football bowl season, college football playoffs. Oh my God, I could do 4 2-hour shows. I could do 8 hours worth of shows on how broken the college sports calendar is. All right, so the NFL, one of the things that has made the NFL the dominant force when it comes to sports that are watched, I was going to say in America, but on planet Earth, it's by far and away number one. The most viewed product, that's what I'm going to call it, in America is number one, the NFL. I'm not talking sports now. I'm talking period. American Idol, which I thought they retired that show like 8 years ago, and then I saw a commercial and it's still around. Much love to American Idol, but I don't get it. It's kind of like we left, we came back, we left, we came back. That show's been around forever, but my point is, we're not just talking sports. We're talking anything on TV. It's number one. Number two, by the way, is college football. But there is a gap from 1 and 2, and there is a gap from 2 to everything else. It's pretty much football is what it is. But one thing the NFL has done so well, their calendar. The way they've allocated their calendar. Hey, this is the season. This is the playoffs. This is the Senior Bowl. This is the combine. This is the draft. This is free agency. This is off-season football, 8 OTAs. Then you've got camp. It's nonstop. It's spread out. So from a news cycle, there's constantly something to talk about. For guys like us, that matters. From I don't know, this makes a little bit of freaking sense standpoint, it makes so much sense. Why in the world would you have free agency in the middle of your tournament if you're the basketball, NCAA basketball? NCAA makes no sense anyways. Nobody respects them. They're a joke. They have been for a long time. Now just nobody pays any attention to them. And if the NCAA tries to sue somebody or tries to do anything, they just get sued. Like, bam, you're sued. Sit down and shut up. Nobody cares about you anymore. That's how people look at the NCAA. Go in the corner, pout, whine, but you're going to face the corner and shut up because nobody cares. I didn't care about the NCAA 20 years ago, but nobody cared that I didn't care. Now nobody cares about the NCAA. This was an unintended sidebar of a rant here, Jake. But the calendar makes no sense. In basketball, in football, I don't even know what it is in baseball for college or softball for college or gymnastics or tennis. I'm just going to assume it's not ASA 7, not ASA 8, but ASA 9. At some point, we will dive into that. All right. Now let's get back into the Husker Sports Roundup. Unnecessary sidebar of a rant. I almost apologize. I almost apologize.
That triggered that?
Rick Mass turned into a rant from Adam Carriker out of nowhere. All right. Women's gymnastics, they are moving on to round 2. They're going to Seattle, moving on to round 2, move past round 1. They're going to take on the winner of Oklahoma and Auburn in round 2 of the NCAA tournament. Good luck to the women in women's gymnastics. But speaking of players who are going to be here, speaking of players who are coming back, this is Jim in Minnesota. He's got an interesting account on X. Sometimes he says interesting things. Sometimes I just keep scrolling fast. But this kind of caught my eye. But I don't know, it kind of falls in that offseason Kool-Aid stuff. So let's talk about it. I don't think we're talking enough, this is Jim from Minnesota, about wide receiver Isaiah Hunter. He averaged 14.5 yards a catch as a freshman with 5 touchdowns. And at 6'2", 210 pounds, he's a big, strong wide receiver with 22 miles per hour speed who can beat press coverage and block on the perimeter. Hey, I got everybody's attention in the state of Nebraska. And then this is via Sean Callahan on X. Dawson McCullough might be the most intriguing defender in Nebraska's spring camp. One NFL scout called him a true unicorn. I think that's referring to his versatility. Like, when you look at a lot of the players that are coming back from across the various Husker sports, but then you look at Dawson, you look at Isaiah Hunter, and we're going to dive into what Rocco had to say about Nebraska being more talented than Notre Dame. At least those were his words. Okay, we'll discuss if that's Kool-Aid, how much stock we put into it. I legit believe Nebraska's brought in a lot of talent via the transfer portal. Again, top 5 class in the country, top 20 recruiting class in the country. That isn't exactly uncommon as far as our high school recruiting class. The most money we've ever spent, the most amount of players, and the highest ranked transfer portal class we've ever had. But what are your thoughts? Because we kind of talked about spring ball starting and position groups and things of that nature yesterday. And we brought up some specific players. But what are your thoughts on like Isaiah Hunter and Dawson McCullough? I'll let you take Isaiah. I'll do Dawson.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I am excited about Isaiah Hunter. Again, Dane Key maybe is the kind of the golden goose of the class or whatever. but Isaiah Hunter certainly could end up being that guy as well. And he's younger, maybe he has some more upside to kind of fulfill that. So, I mean, I can't wait to see what he does. He feels like somebody that is maybe a little bit overlooked because of that, or we're just kind of throw him into a group of guys when we get excited. But I can't lie, I was really excited, looking him up, seeing his size and speed combination, and to be able to do what he did as a freshman. You assume that he's going to only improve as time goes on. So that was a huge get for Nebraska. He very well could be the leading receiver for Nebraska this season.
You look at the wide receiver core, Dankey's a senior, but Hunter, sophomore. Barney, sophomore. Hardly Gilmore. He redshirted last year, so he's a redshirt freshman. Am I correct?
Yeah, I think so.
And then Raiola is a sophomore. Emmett Johnson, running back, is a junior. A lot of young talent. You look at Dawson McCullough. This is legit a jack of all trades. He's a guy who was an all Big Ten type performer as a true freshman in Indiana, coming off the edge as their best pass rusher. He led them in sacks as a true freshman. So, and Rule has said they want to use him coming off the edge, getting after the quarterback. If Williams and Worry can make an impact this year, and you got Dawson and you got Worry coming off the two edges, when you have one great pass rusher, that's a difference maker, a huge difference maker. When you have two, it's gargantuan. Because if there's one great pass rusher on a team, that's a problem. But an offense can walk up to the line, all right, laser, slide the protection to the left. Or they can keep a tight end in, or they can chip with the back, or they can do all these different things. When you got two guys coming off, that's a real problem. Real problem. So if Dawson McCullough can make an impact as an edge rusher, but he can do so many things as well. He's a guy who can tackle in space. He can cover. The scout called him a true unicorn. And full disclosure, he hasn't proven to be elite at any one thing just yet. He uses the word true unicorn because of his ability to do everything, which is rare. You see all these 4-3 defensive ends, and then they go to the draft, and then there's supposed to be a 3-4 outside linebacker, and they have a trouble flipping the hips and getting to the flats or the hook curl or whatever the case may be and getting in coverage. This is a guy that can do it all. Got to stay healthy. Got banged up a little bit at Oklahoma. But if he stays healthy, he is a unicorn in the amount of different things that he can be good at. All right, we're going to bring Mark Manning on here in about 10 minutes or so. A couple final thoughts on the wrestling from this past weekend, which again was phenomenal. Seven national champions came from the Big Ten Conference from across America. Let's see. Illinois had one. Ohio State had one. Obviously, Nebraska had two with Ridge Lovett and Ontrell Taylor. Mitchell Messenbrook, Carter Staroki from Penn State, and Iowa had one as well. And we got a clip here from Mark Manning we're going to play in a minute. Do you have that ready?
Yeah, just 1 second.
Okay. So Ontrell Taylor is the first homegrown Husker to win an NCAA national title since Brad Varing from Howells, Nebraska did it in 2000, and only the second in program history to ever do it as well. Let me know whenever that's ready. And before we play that Mark Manning clip, and then Coach Manning's going to join us at 11:30, you may have seen this on X, but it struck a chord with me. All right. 5'5" Lucas Bird won the national championship at wrestling at 133 pounds and immediately goes to hug his 6'3" girlfriend. And I believe she's a volleyball player. It struck a chord with me because I'm 6'6". I've been happily married for a long time. But even before I met my wife, I've always kind of been attracted to shorter girls. This is like that in a reverse. And I was like, that's awesome. I love everything about this. And so I just thought that was kind of cool. All right. We'll see if Jake will have that clip ready here in a minute. But when you think about some of the players we have coming back next year across the different sports, from volleyball to basketball, and obviously we've got to add some talent and ability on these sports, but the talent they brought in football. Like when Rocco Spindler says, is that ready? Mm-hmm. Okay. When Rocco Spindler says Nebraska's more talented than Notre Dame, it hits you as laughable. I immediately thought, Well, it immediately reminded me of Adrian Martinez when he went to Kansas State. Oh, this is the most talented team I've ever played on, which is a not so indirect shot right at Nebraska. Didn't Kansas State win the Big 12 championship that year?
Yeah, he might not have been wrong.
Now, I'm not saying Nebraska's going to win a Big 10 championship or not going to win or X amount of games. I'll give a prediction later on, an official prediction. We don't know. There's too many question marks right now. They just had their first practice yesterday. They're having practice number 2 right now that wraps up in 6 minutes. We don't know enough. They aren't even in pads yet. You don't get in pads until practice number 3 in the spring. For a long time, we'll dive more into this after we have Coach Manning on. I have said Nebraska has talent. They have a higher percentage of talent than they do a percentage of wins. So when I first heard what Rocco said, I thought it was laughable. It might be worth a chuckle, but I don't think it's worth a laugh. And if you think about it, it might be a little bit more interesting than we think. I'm not saying Nebraska's more talented than Notre Dame, but I don't think it's as laughable as I once did, 24 hours ago when I heard it. All right, but real quick, let's get into this clip from Mark Manning. All right, because Antrell Taylor's got a heck of a story, and then we'll bring Mark on afterwards as well. Go ahead, Jake.
A lot of people know Antrell's story. He lost his father, 14 years ago, and lost one of his oldest brothers 2-3 years ago. The same gang members in Omaha. And what an amazing story that guy is, right? Well, how he overcame, and just help them every way that they can. And sometimes, off the mat stuff is most important, just taking them to church and it's just, sometimes it's easy to walk in the wrestling room and be around the stud, be around the Jordan Burroughs, but it's everyone. And so my college coach, Mike Denny, told me one thing, hey, every day, everyone needs some touches, right? And it's easy to touch on and love on the best guys in your room. It's everyone. You need to touch on everyone. And, your best guy's getting a lot of touches. So a lot of times it's about seeing other people and what they need. And I think that's why we have great togetherness and team camaraderie. And Antrell's, he's just a sophomore, right? To see him grow and take on, being an All-American really last year. He was a 157 pounder. He didn't cut weight for 165. He just couldn't beat Peyton Robb out, 4-time All-American, pretty good guy. And you should have saw Peyton Robb and Liam Cronin up there in the stands this weekend cheering these guys on. And Peyton Robb is so proud of Antrell, and that's what it's all about. That's really cool moments. But I just run through the wall for Antrell. He's means.
What are your thoughts when you hear something like that, Jake?
Well, it's just really cool to see that that type of, there at the end, especially you heard he'd run through a wall for him. That's what you want your players to be able to say for you about a coach. For it to be kind of the opposite way there is very special. But you can kind of see why they won a team championship, why they kind of brought each other up. And it really is a cool story. I mean, the Antrell Taylor, story being a homegrown Husker from Omaha, specifically, we like to embrace those guys, those in-state guys that it seems to be their goal or their dream would be to do what he just did, win a championship for the Huskers. And, it's one thing for that to be your goal. You can even be Joe Burrow. You can be a great player in this world, and things won't quite work out perfectly for you to do it for the team that you wanted to. But for Antrell, he was able to get that done. And so it's just a very special weekend.
It just kind of adds to the story and the specialness of this weekend. Winning a national title, which they hadn't done, or having a wrestler win a national title, which they hadn't done for quite a while since Jordan Burroughs, and then having 2 of them do it and their best overall team finish ever. Everything that Antrell overcame, being from Nebraska, like Jake said, overcoming losing his dad and brother to gun violence, and then he's only a sophomore too. So the future is only going to get brighter for Antrell. So this is an exciting thing. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll be joined by Nebraska wrestling coach Mark Manning.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals just like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait, apply now.
When you need a new water heater, nothing beats the ProLine family of water heaters from A.O. Smith. ProLine models are built using commercial-grade components, meaning they're built to help you tackle your toughest days. No matter if you need a gas or electric model, A.O. Smith has a ProLine unit for you. A.O. Smith, innovation has a name. Call Greens at 402-467-4444 for a great deal on a water heater today. Again, that's 402-467-4444.
What's it take to be a mentor with big brothers, big sisters? It takes 30 minutes and a cup of coffee, a video game, best 2 out of 3. It takes sharing thumbs up emojis, clapping emojis, and loaded nachos at halftime. That's how you make an impact on a young kid's life. So go on, share a few hours a month, because mentorship may sound huge, but the truth is, it takes little to be big. To learn more, volunteer, or donate, go to bebignow.org.
Wall to Wall Wine and Spirits is your place in North Lincoln to go for all your needs in wine, spirits, and beer. They also have a large variety of cigars in their walk-in humidor, and they have a top-notch walk-in temperature-controlled high-end wine room. Plus, you can enjoy free samples from their tasting bar. There's only one place to go for all your needs for spirits and cigars. That's Wall to Wall Wine and Spirits on North 27th Street in Lincoln.
Big box stores are tempting for buying equipment for your high schooler in sports or for yourself in your sports leisures. But buying new is awfully expensive. Why not go somewhere with new and used options? Play It Again Sports has quality, slightly to gently used equipment, and 50% of their inventory is actually new equipment. And it's more than baseball, softball, and golf. They also have equipment for disc golf, fitness, hockey, and more. Plus, they're always buying products. Bring your gear you're done with and get trade money on the spot. Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine.
Your home is your empire. Protect it with Empire Fence. Get a free instant quote with the online estimating tool at empire-fence.com. See an upfront estimate with no hidden fees. An Empire Fence can provide privacy and improve the appearance of your home. Keep kids and pets in or out of your yard. Increase security and add value to your property. Visit empire-fence.com now to view the stylish and maintenance-free possibilities for your home and get a free instant online quote. Let Empire Fence protect your empire.
It takes hard work to make Nebraska the right place to raise a family, build a business, or grow a community. We're counting on working parents to make it happen, and they're counting on childcare professionals to have their backs. Employers and other contributors can earn up to $100,000 tax credit for strengthening childcare in our communities and state. Learn more at nebraskachildcaretaxcredit.org. Brought to you by First 5 Nebraska and Nebraska Children and Families Foundation and aired by the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Join Jay Foreman, Eric Strickland, and Austin Norman this Thursday, March 27th at the brand new Liquid Asset Sports Bar and Grill at 27th and Jamie Lane as we celebrate MLB opening day and the Sweet 16 in the NCAA tournament. That's Thursday from 3 to 6 p.m. at Liquid Asset Sports Bar and Grill at 27th and Jamie Lane.
Salt Mine City is not only Lincoln's newest brewery, but they're also now serving food. Enjoy a full menu of great items daily for lunch and dinner, like their peanut butter and jelly burger with bacon and cheddar cheese, or a Reuben sandwich served on Blackstone rye bread. Don't forget their beef or chicken nachos with guacamole, sour cream, jalapenos, and more. Wash it down with one of their 12 beers on tap, including the popular Single Axle Light American Lager. Salt Mine City, now open 11 a.m. every day but Mondays at 8th and R.
Hi, it's Joel Norman, the voice of your Lincoln Stars hockey team. Tune in to 93.7 The Ticket to hear the latest on the Stars with myself, head coach Rocky Russo, and special player guests.
At Farm Bureau Financial Services, we strive to provide you with the right coverages for all your insurance needs by taking the time to meet with you and review what coverages best fit your needs. So whether you're in the market for home, auto, farm, business, life, or a combination of any of these coverages, we can help with making sure you, your family, or your business have the right coverage based on your individual needs. If you would like to review your insurance needs, please contact Ben Spurt with Farm Bureau Financial Services at 402-217-9945 or through email at ben.spurt@fbfs.com.
This is the Adam Carriker Show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
What a year to support collegiate wrestling in Nebraska, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go through it before we bring our guest on. All right, obviously, Division I, University of Nebraska. Runner-up, number 2 in the country, best finish in program history after a very memorable weekend. Division II, Nebraska Kearney finishes first in the country. NAIA Doane finishes 4th in the country. JUCO, Southeast Community College, 6th in the country. We're talking in the country, ladies and gentlemen. Nebraska wrestling in this great state is on the rise. Now it's time to bring in our special guest at this time, Nebraska wrestling coach Mark Manning. How you doing, my friend?
Hey, Adam. Thanks for having us on.
I appreciate you joining us. All right, man. Talk to me about this past weekend. Well, going into the weekend, if someone had said, hey, coach, this is what this weekend's going to look like, this is what would be a success, because obviously this last weekend was very successful, but what would you have considered a success? And then compare that, to what actually happened, which was pretty phenomenal.
Yeah, coming out of the Big Ten, so really during the season, we knew this team, could garner this type of not only attention, but they could be national runners-up. I mean, Penn State, we needed more help to be able to overcome them. In the last 40 years, 117 points probably win 80% of the national championships. They have an amazing team, 10 All-Americans. They had 2 national champs. We had 2 national champs. So we needed more help to be able to catch them. But we knew we were capable of being in this position. We really did. Our guys just had an amazing belief system, and I knew this team had high standards. They weren't, we took 9 guys, and Lenny Pinto was upset in one of the matches, and end up not being All-American, and all the other 8 guys were All-Americans and 2 national champions. So an incredible weekend, but I think we worked for this, and I think our guys on our team just have high standards. They weren't there just to do well. They were there to get on the podium. And I think that's why this team achieved what they did.
Now, you said this team had the potential to fulfill this all along, which is fantastic. But obviously, it is the highest finish in program history, so it's quite an accomplishment. What do you think kind of differentiates? Obviously, you've been here and had great athletes and great teams in the past. What kind of differentiated this team to elevate to that highest program finish in history?
I just think it's like anything. It's belief system. The guys just their belief system's super high. And I'll give you an example. Cam McDaniel and Jacob Van D both lost first round and won 4 straight matches to become an All-American. That's super, super tough. And Cam McDaniel being a true freshman, 18 years old, there's guys at his weight class, 23, 24-year-old guys. The Iowa kid that was at Iowa 1 year, 2 other different schools, but that's another story. But, he's 24 years old. Cam McDaniel's 18. But Christopher Minto, taken 4th in the country as a redshirt freshman at 165, lightly recruited guy. And, I think those guys are the beneficiary of guys like Brock Hardy and Rich Lovett. That leadership trickled down to those guys. And, Adam, as you know, being on great teams and the impact one guy can have on another teammate is an amazing action to see. And you really saw that on our team this year. And so I think we went in the NCAA tournament and, with a chip on our shoulder. And I think we wrestled at the Big Tens the same way. We finished second there. We distanced ourselves from Iowa at the Big Ten. So for us, it was no big deal. And when we were in that moment, our guys responded really well. They were very poised, and they didn't freak out. And they were great in big moments.
So we played a clip from your press conference yesterday where you were talking about Antrell Taylor. Yeah.
Oh yeah, Antrell.
And everything. I mean, first born Nebraskan to win a championship, I believe, since 2000. I talked about that earlier. But everything he's been through, from the unfortunate, his dad and brother losing their lives to gun violence, but his dad, Darrell Taylor, actually passed away in 2011, which is the same year of the last time Nebraska had a national champion, which is Jordan Burroughs. That timeline is just kind of crazy there. But talk to me about any additional thoughts you might have about a homegrown kid overcoming so much to win a national title, and he's only a sophomore.
Yeah. Adam, we saw it last year. He actually, Peyton Robb, we had a 4-time All-American in Peyton Robb, and wrestled 157. So Antrell went up to 165, didn't have to cut any weight. Means he was kind of undersized. And in the toughest weight class in the NCAA tournament, 165 last year, he was an All-American. And that showed not only himself, but us that, he could do this. And it was his goal all year. And he got upset at Big Tens, and he was really disappointed. And I just thought, hey, just learn from that mistake, and you got 2 weeks to correct it and come back with a different mindset and then just a different approach. And our guys are so coachable. This team is very special. There's Adam, being on a lot of great teams, you have kids there or guys that are really hard head. They're very set in their ways. And this team, they're so coachable, and they really love each other, and just the togetherness. And we have a motto, tough together, and I think we really proved that over the course of the year, and definitely in March Madness. The best 5 days in wrestling is 2 days for Big Ten, 3 days in the NCAA tournament. And I think we really shined in those 5 days.
The new March Madness. I love that. That is awesome. The new March Madness. And for those who didn't know, Antrell actually won back-to-back 3 straight state championships in high school up in Omaha as well. I want to ask you about Ridge Lovett, who also won a national championship as well, Big Ten champion at the 149-pound weight limit. He's a 3-time All-American as well, best male athlete in 2022, Nebraska's most outstanding wrestler 2021 and 2022. Talk to me about Ridge, because he's the guy who's a 3-time All-American, Big Ten champ, national champ. He has had a sustained level of success over time. And I've said many times on this show, consistency is the hardest thing to accomplish as an athlete at the highest level. Talk to me about his consistent, sustained level of greatness over these past few years.
Yeah, he's, Adam, I've said this to a lot of people in a lot of interviews. When I knew when we landed Ridge Lovett, and he called me, we were the second to last visit. He went to Oklahoma State, which his dad loved. John Smith, legendary wrestler. He loved Oklahoma State. And he visited Oklahoma State his last visit. He calls me that Sunday, and he's like, "Coach, well," I said, "Well, what did you tell John Smith?" He said, "Well, John Smith said you're going to be a Cowboy." And I told John Smith, "What did I tell John Smith, Coach?" I said, "Well, I don't know. What did you tell him?" He says, "I told him I'm going to Nebraska. I'm going to be a Husker." And I said, that's when I knew, when I got Ridge Lovett, that one, he not only was a special wrestler, but he's a special leader. And I knew his competitive fire just energizes people. And it just had an amazing effect. And I knew when we got him, and I knew when we got Brock Hardy, who, took a Mormon mission for 2 years. I knew when we got those two guys that we would have a special team, because just how mature they are, and they're leaders, and people gravitate to them and put off great vibes. It just, some people, as you know, Adam, are like that. And those two guys, especially Ridge, is dynamic that way.
Now, Mark, I'm going to make you pick between your children here, because you did have kind of a bit of a, you've had guys win championships before. So what was it kind of like? How does this compare to, obviously Jordan's championships, Paul and Jason, and those guys that you've had before? To get to the pinnacle, obviously, to win that national championship is everybody's goal, and to get there is just incredible. So you're one of those people that you have enough on your resume that we can compare them. How did this kind of compare to those championships that your wrestlers have won before?
Yeah, you know what? We haven't had back-to-back. I mean, we almost had back-to-back national champions right there. And with Ridge winning and then Antrell winning, I mean, it was just euphoric. It's really cool, and really cool for our team. And, you saw our team look different because all our guys were down by the mat side cheering our guys on. And that just shows where there's a spiritual element to our team that I think not a lot of people have. And I think it's really special, and we're going to keep that growing on our team. But it's just a great moment for our team and great moment for our program.
So I don't know if enough people know this, but Coach Manning, in his own right, was a two-time NCAA Division II national champion, a three-time All-American as well back in the day when you wrestled. So that leads me to my question, because DP was there covering you guys. I'm just going to be, because I posted about you guys on Facebook and X. I started a TikTok account.
Yes. You were awesome. Thank you.
Like, I'm trying to cover as many sports as I can and talk about as many Husker sports as I can. I take the approach, high tide raises all ships. And I love that DP was there, but I'm going to ask the question. All right. How do we get, not how do we, but we need to, I'm going to put a phrase out there and you react. We need to get more coverage for the Nebraska wrestling team and more sports in general. And when someone like me says that, because I'm stating it as my opinion, but I'm going to pretend it's a fact. Okay. And what's your reaction to something like that? Because I want you specifically, we're talking to you, but all Husker sports, but the wrestling team specifically, to get more coverage. What are your thoughts, your reaction when you hear something like that?
Well, I think Derek, DP, have been talking to us a lot about. He was at the Big Ten and saw epic moments there. And then the same thing this weekend. He was there. He was up front person. He was talking to Troy. Hey, these guys deserve this. They need more coverage. And, I think, I kind of relate it to, because I've been here a long time. And, I remember talking to John Cook about when they moved from the Devaney, or moved from the Coliseum. It was about 4,000. We used to wrestle in there too, right? Mm-hmm. Because men and women's basketball were in Devaney. It was craziness going on. Just we needed more room, and that we didn't have men and women didn't have a practice facility. They had to practice in the Bob Devaney Center. So anyway, when they moved from the Coliseum to the, I remember talking to John. He's like, I think the packet. Go, well, I don't know. And I think that's our next thing. Hey, we need to be able to sell out the Bob Devaney Center every time. And, I think that's the next, step in our program and for the challenge for our fans to say, listen, we have an amazing team here. And they love, they have an amazing pride and for the end. And, we're going to support these guys at the highest level, and we're going to support them like we do football or volleyball. And let's get behind these guys and march them on to a national title. Let's beat Penn State. Let's hunt them down. and we need everyone behind us to do that. And, obviously Penn State had a big fan base there. It's easy when you're winning all the time, but we're right there. We're right there, Adam. And I think, we have been there. We've been a top 10 team for the last 10, 12 years. And so, but just stepping up like this shows that, with 7 out of the 9 guys that we took to nationals coming back, we have a lot in our room right now, and we're on a roll. We need to keep this rolling. We need to keep building this, not stop. Like, hey, we're doing good. No, we want to be great. And there's another level. And as you know, and I think fans will be seeing, an amazing product, amazing, they embody what Nebraska is all about. Work ethic, keeping your head down, not bragging about how great you are, but going and showing it and earning it. And I think we've been, a good picture of that. And that would be my challenge to Husker Nation. And I know we had people, back here when we got back on Sunday. It was really cool. So.
Well, I appreciate you taking the time, Coach. Congratulations on a phenomenal season.
Yeah. Thanks a lot, Adam. Thanks a lot. I appreciate everyone. I appreciate our fan base. So go Huskers.
All right, don't go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be right back.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC, and March Madness is here, and Koppel is ready to rock and roll. We just closed the books on a tremendous February, and we're locked and loaded for a big March. True 0% APR is happening right now at Koppel on select new models. Plus, Koppel has over $10,500 off list on other select new models. Our pre-owned truck lot is full of late model low gyms as well. So make that short drive down 144th Street or check us out online at koppelcars.com. All deals with a roof credit, 0% is standalone.
If you're in Seward or Milford, listen up. Select Plumbing is now servicing your area with no trip charges from Lincoln. Select Plumbing works on a variety of issues for your home and business, including general plumbing, water heaters, faucet fixture repair, underground sewer and water repairs, backflow testing, and more. Keep your property free from leaks and other issues. Call today for a free estimate at 402-560-6197. It's not just Lincoln, Waverly, and the surrounding area anymore. It's also Seward and Milford with no trip charges. Contact Select Plumbing to inquire at 402-560-6197.
The electrical workers of Local Union 265 are now hiring licensed journeyman electricians from $32.50 to $42.50 per hour with paid benefits. And if you're looking for a new career, they're hiring apprentices at $19.50 per hour with paid benefits. Call the office at 402-423-4497 to apply. Start your electrical career today.
Rosie Sports Bar and Grill, open for lunch and dinner at 1501 Center Park Road.
Hog Wild's giant sub baked potatoes are anything but basic and really hit the spot when you're craving a little comfort food. Nothing is more satisfying than a Hog Wild baked potato loaded with butter, sour cream, cheddar cheese, bacon bits, and chives. Add your choice of a Hog Wild house smoked meat like pulled pork, chicken, or brisket for a little extra. Order online at GoHogWild.com. Hog Wild Pit Barbecue, 3210 Cornhusker Highway in Lincoln.
But don't be late, we close at 8.
Garage doors can break down or quit working at the worst times. At Doors Plus, they understand that a broken garage door sometimes means repair and not replace. Sometimes, all you need to make your door like new again is a few bolts, a realignment, or even a new balance. Trust the pros at Doors Plus to handle your garage door repair the right way so you can get on with your busy schedule. Visit them online at DoorsPlusLLC.com or give them a call today at 402-590-5800. Doors Plus. Garage doors and more.
At Farm Bureau Financial Services, we strive to provide you with the right coverages for all your insurance needs by taking the time to meet with you and review what coverages best fit your needs. So whether you're in the market for home, auto, farm, business, life, or a combination of any of these coverages, we can help with making sure you, your family, or your business have the right coverage based on your individual needs. If you would like to review your insurance needs, please contact Ben Spurt with Farm Bureau Financial Services at 402-217-9945 or through email at ben.spurt@fbfs.com. Salt Mine City is not only Lincoln's newest brewery, but they're also now serving food. Enjoy a full menu of great items daily for lunch and dinner, like their peanut butter and jelly burger with bacon and cheddar cheese, or a Reuben sandwich served on Blackstone rye bread.
Don't forget their beef or chicken nachos with guacamole, sour cream, jalapenos, and more. Wash it down with one of their 12 beers on tap, including the popular Single Axle Light American Lager. Salt Mine City, now open 11 a.m. every day but Mondays at 8th and R.
This is the Adam Carriker Show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Adam Carriker Show here on 93.7 The Ticket. We will have your press conference reaction live as it's happening because, well, this show is timed perfectly for that. So we get to give the initial reaction to all that. And Matt Rule has already talked about he'd be open to joint practices. He would be open to joint practices if certain NCAA rules change. I would imagine he's talking about that, maybe that post-spring portal stupid window. Just a thought. Maybe that's the rule he's talking about. But we're going to give full reactions to that at the top of the hour. Real quick. That's the first thing we're probably going to talk about, along with a few other things. Also, Dylan Raiola looks slimmer. He looks slimmer, so we're going to talk about those things as well. But, Jake, I want to get your thoughts. I want to give my thoughts as well on this. Oh, real quick. Did you know there's only 8 players with over 1,600 tackles in the history of the NFL? Levante David and Bobby Wagner are 2 of those guys. Levante he's second place all time in Bucs history. 1,600 career tackles, 198 games played, 19 fumble recoveries, 13 INTs, which is second in history for the Bucs franchise. 39 sacks, which is 6th place all time for the Bucs franchise. But let's talk, a little bit. Rocco Spindler basically told some of the players on the Nebraska team that Nebraska is more talented than Notre Dame. When you first heard this, the team that just played for the national title a year ago, now I will readily tell you, I thought this was laughable at first. The more I thought about it, I'm like, well, maybe it's worth a chuckle. But Notre Dame, I've talked about the talent composite rankings a ton. Alabama, Oregon, Texas, Georgia, Ohio State. Like, those are the top 5. Now, when you factor in roster, you got to factor in experience, returning production, et cetera, et cetera. That's where Ohio State, I thought, had the number 1 roster. You factor in other teams. When you think of talent composite rankings, I'm going to shock you with this. Florida is actually up there, top 15. Texas A&M is up there. Clemson is actually still number 6. Miami's in the top 15. When you look at the talent composite rankings, Notre Dame does not break the top 15. They break the top 20. I think the reason they played for the national title is what has been built by their head coach, Marcus Freeman. They run the ball on offense. They play great defense. They're incredibly physical. They actually have a culture. Now, it's easier to do at Notre Dame because you're not going to go to Notre Dame and you're not going to be as likely to leave. The academics, like, people don't go to Notre Dame. Like, it's harder to get in because of the academics, so you're less likely to leave. And just certain things about Notre Dame make it less likely for players. So they look at their transfer portal action. I mean, they have players come in, they have players leave. But they're nowhere near amongst the tops in the entire country when it comes to transfer portal, I'm going to call it action, players coming and going. They don't have a ton. So it's easier to build a culture when you've got things like that. Over the years, Nebraska's had a ton of players coming and going. This past year was expected. Everybody had it because of getting down to 105 players. To me, what Notre Dame did was they built something very similar to how I would imagine Matt Rule wants Nebraska football to look. Blue collar, in your face, smash mouth, run the ball, play great defense. If we have a quarterback that can sling it, hey, that's awesome too. Who wouldn't want that? And so you can beat more talented teams if you're really good at that style of game. And you look back at the 90s Huskers, there a lot of talent on those teams. But there was Florida State teams, there was Miami teams who had number 1 recruiting classes in the country, and Nebraska beat those teams because they were better at the aforementioned things that I just talked about, which Marcus Freeman has done at Notre Dame and Nebraska. I guarantee Matt Rule's trying to do right here, right now. And then you look at the talent that we brought in through the portal. You look at how we've recruited. I'm like, man, I don't know if Nebraska is more talented than Notre Dame. And maybe this is worth a chuckle because maybe it is just off-season Kool-Aid. But maybe it's not. I'm not saying they're going to win more games than Notre Dame. Let me be very, very clear. We have not lacked for talent in a long time. We've lacked for the amount of wins that we want, though, because there's more things that go into winning a football game than just ability. Development, physicality, culture, coaching, in-game adjustments, week to week throughout the season adjustments. Those things have not been great for far too long. Not just one coaching staff. But when it comes to talent, we've never been short. I've never said Nebraska is Oregon. I've never said we're Ohio State. I've never said we're Georgia, Alabama, Texas when it comes to talent. But top 25, top 20, yes. Had it, and done had it for a while. I didn't say top 5. I didn't even say top 10. You could argue we're knocking on the door of top 15 with some of these transfer portal guys. What I'd like to get is top 20, top 25, top 15 win totals. What was your thought when you heard this from Rocco, Jake?
Well, I think it's good. It's good to say, coming in but I mean, I think I'm still closer to your initial reaction of, I'll believe it when I see it. I mean, it's good. I think but it sounds like Kool-Aid to a degree. Now, to say it's comparable, I think would feel good as well. But I mean, that was just a pretty talented team. I don't think Nebraska has the offensive line Notre Dame does. I don't think they have the running backs Notre Dame does. I don't think they have the, Xavier Watts, obviously the top end talent, tight ends. I mean, so there's a lot.
You just had to bring him up, didn't you? The Omaha kid specifically. Dagger.
But
Go ahead.
You're talking about all Americans or guys that, going into last year, they had 4 preseason All Americans on that team. Howard Cross on the defensive line. Again, they're tied in. I mean, so there's just at least the top end talent doesn't compare. And then again, as collectively, cohesively, didn't seem to. But again, you don't want to just put Notre Dame on this pedestal for because they made the championship game. Yeah, I mean that's a big deal. But they did lose to Northern Illinois too. So it's not like this Notre Dame team was impenetrable. I mean, it was a good, solid team, and I think a team that a lot of teams like Nebraska should try to replicate. But to be as good as what they are, I think that's going to take a step or two for Matt Rule and Nebraska to get to.
So when you talk about a lot of the Notre Dame's offensive line, how about this? They have far less question marks, although they had 2 of their starters leave. We got one of them here. Okay, another one graduated. But Notre Dame's offensive line as a whole, you would have to assume, all right, even with the players coming and going, is definitely ahead of Nebraska right now. I mean, they've got less question marks. I was going to make a bad joke that they're too deep could leave and they still have less question marks. I'm sorry, that's a really bad joke. But my point is, in the trenches and depth in the running back room, they have more proven individuals. When you get beyond that, I start to equate preseason All-Americans and things like that to development, coaching, getting better, retention, culture. When we talk about pure talent, I put out a thing 2 years ago that Nebraska quarterbacks room was talented. That was the year of Purdy, Harburg, Sims. I got roasted alive on X. You know what I did? I doubled down because talent does not equate to skill, does not equate to good player. It equates to good ability to potentially play well. They had talent. The results in that room on that year sucked. So I doubled down and I got eaten alive again. And I was like, I'm not wrong. I could be, but I don't believe I'm wrong. All right. When it comes to talent, you probably are going to give Notre Dame the edge because of their success on the field. But to me, Notre Dame has proven so many other areas that they're better at within their program and culture and development improvement. And that's why they're winning way more games. And they probably got a little bit of an edge, specifically in the trenches. But I don't think the overall athleticism of the team is as gargantuanly different as what initially popped into my head when I heard that. I was like, Again, maybe worth a chuckle. Maybe it's Kool-Aid. I don't know. We're going to learn a lot more as well. All right. A couple of recruiting updates. And then should we be concerned? You know what? I guess we will talk about potential recruiting concerns when we come back, but a couple of recruiting updates. Frankly, there's a lot of players in Nebraska within the 500-mile radius that are not committed to Nebraska. Like quite a few. Matt Rule's never not gotten the top recruit in the state of Nebraska before. He might not this year, just as kind of a little hint there. All right, but Nebraska is doing some things. Huskers target 4-star 2027 quarterback Trey Taylor. He'll be in Lincoln on Thursday. He is ranked the number 11 player in the nation. All right, Trey even shared on Twitter, headed to Husker football on Thursday. Going to be a big day. So they are doing some things. Throughout this next hour, we're going to give reaction to Rule saying he's open to joint practices. Dylan Raiola looks slimmer. Maybe Nebraska's 500-mile radius and the walk-on program going away and the limit to the roster of 105 and the way college football is going. Maybe it may not be as much of a priority to Matt Rule going forward. We'll dive into that when we come back.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
Join Jay Foreman, Eric Strickland, and Austin Norman this Thursday, March 27th at the brand new Liquid Asset Sports Bar and Grill at 27th and Jamie Lane as we celebrate MLB opening day and the Sweet 16 in the NCAA tournament. That's Thursday from 3 to 6 p.m. at Liquid Asset Sports Bar and Grill at 27th and Jamie Lane.
Step into healing at Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery. Our team of top-notch medical professionals turns pain into progress with state-of-the-art treatments and compassionate care. Visit prairieortho.com and discover the difference in quality orthopedic and plastic surgery services tailored to your unique needs. Your health matters, and Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery is dedicated to helping you thrive. Reach your full potential. Embrace a better tomorrow with Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery.
If you're in Seward or Milford, listen up. Select Plumbing is now servicing your area with no trip charges from Lincoln. Select Plumbing works on a variety of issues for your home and business, including general plumbing, water heaters, faucet fixture repair, underground sewer and water repairs, backflow testing, and more. Keep your property free from leaks and other issues. Call today for a free estimate at 402-560-6197. It's not just Lincoln, Waverly, and the surrounding area anymore. It's also Seward and Milford with no trip charges. Contact Select Plumbing to inquire at 402-560-6197.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait, apply now.
Hey volleyball fans, this is Laura Dijkema, national player of the Netherlands and now the setter on Omaha's newest professional team, Love Omaha Volleyball. League volleyball is bringing the heat this year. Don't miss your chance to see Olympians, national players and national champions right here in Omaha from now through April. We can't wait to see you cheering for us in the stands. Visit lovboma.com to buy single match tickets to see me and Love Omaha Volleyball in action. Go Big Green!
Fleet Feet Lincoln is excited for the upcoming spring season and the warmer temps, and they want you to get outside and be active. Fleet Feet's Fit ID process takes a free 3D image of your feet to help runners and walkers alike find comfortable tennis shoes and inserts that ease pain associated with plantar fasciitis, bunions, and more. Get back on your feet this spring with a trip to Fleet Feet, open 7 days a week at 77th and Pioneers.
McKinney's Irish Pub in the Haymarket is your place for English Premier League soccer. On Tuesday, April 1st, Wolves place West Ham at 1:45 p.m., followed by Nottingham Forest versus Man United at 2 p.m. On Wednesday, April 2nd, Newcastle plays Brentford at 1:45 a.m., followed by Liverpool versus Everton at 2 p.m. Liverpool currently leads the standings with 70 points. You can find all this and more at McKinney's Irish Pub in the Haymarket, your place for English Premier League soccer, located at 8th and P.
John Henry's has a brand new membership club to protect your entire home in one program. With a VIP and a deluxe option, we will help you find the plan that best fits your needs. Receive discounts on services and equipment, priority service, complimentary inspections, and so much more. Protect your home's plumbing, heating, cooling, and electrical systems all in one membership. Call John Henry's to learn more.
435-5555. John Henry's Plumbing, Heating and Air,
and Electrical.
Imagine a healthier, more active, physically fit version of yourself. If you've been putting off getting into shape, now is the time with the Farrell's Extreme Body Shaping 10-Week Challenge. Our program combines kickboxing, strength training, and nutrition coaching to help you achieve your fitness goals. And ticket listeners, you can get $150 off your enrollment. The next 10-week challenge begins on April 12th. You can get all the info at fxblincoln.com. Don't wait any longer. Farrell's Extreme Body Shaping at 40th and Yankee Hill and 70th and Vine.
LES wants your feedback. Help shape your electric utilities direction and priorities by taking an anonymous online survey. Make your voice heard before the survey closes on April 30th at les.com/survey.
It takes hard work to make Nebraska the right place to raise a family, build a business, or grow a community. We're counting on working parents to make it happen, and they're counting on childcare professionals to have their backs. Employers and other contributors can earn up to a $100,000 tax credit for strengthening childcare in our communities and state. Learn more at nebraskachildcaretaxcredit.org. Brought to you by First 5 Nebraska and Nebraska Children and Families Foundation and aired by the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Hi, it's Joel Norman, the voice of your Lincoln Stars hockey team. Tune in to 93.7 The Ticket to hear the latest on the Stars with myself, head coach Rocky Russo, and special player guests.
This is the Adam Carriker Show.
Position right of the quarterback, out of the shotgun, first and 20. Jailbreak screen in the air. It is tipped. It is intercepted by Carriker at the Missouri 21-yard line.
Live from the heart of Lincoln, America, 8-year NFL vet and All-American defensive lineman Adam Carriker.
Shotgun snap to Everidge. He's got the left arm going, and now he's got a whole lot of Adam Carriker who rips him down inside the 25-yard line.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Here is your host, Adam Carriker.
Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, to the hour 2 of the Adam Carriker Show here on 93.7 The Ticket. All right, a lot to talk about. Matt Rule. Is he still talking? Is it over?
I think Emmett Johnson's at the podium now.
Who's at the podium?
I believe Emmett Johnson.
Emmett Johnson's at the podium. So we'll react to what Rule has to say, EJ has to say. All right, Rule's up for joint practices if new playing rules are passed. Well, if you've heard any of our shows from last week, I love that. And we went through why. It's more beneficial for your team. I think it's going to excite fans more. Frankly, you can make a boatload of more money because TV channels are going to love it. And the rule that he's talking about, again, is no spring portal window, so players can't be poached. So that's not a concern. Then the concern is injuries. I already explained why that's not as much of a concern as people want to, frankly, pretend that it is. Do we need to dive into that? Or have we covered that previously? Why it's a great idea, why Matt Rule likes it, why Mike Norvell likes it. People just want to jump all over Dion. Dion likes it, and a lot of coaches actually like it. And when I went on Doc Talk, Travis and Rob Zadiska looked at me like I was nuts. And then when I explained what we already went through last week, they're like, oh, that makes a lot of sense. And Rob was like, man, the math, it's very basic. You have 11 players on the field versus 22. That makes a lot of sense. Why didn't I think of that before? And so the injury thing, to me, it doesn't ring all that true. Okay, we've already diatribed this last week as to why I'm not as concerned about injuries. And then one person's like, well, if you've only got 11 players on the field, you're getting half the development. So we're concerned about injuries or we're concerned about development. Pick one. All right, so for me, the reason I like another team, okay, versus doing a spring game versus yourself, and I love the joint practice thing. You don't even have to scrimmage in the joint practice. You don't even have to go to the ground. All right, so the injury rate risk goes down significantly. I mean, if you're concerned about injuries, walking down the street, you could get injured. All right, and actually, unfortunately, I've known some guys that have done that, ironically, which is why I bring that up. But my point is simply this. The injury risk is no more. You could argue less in a spring game because you've got 11 players on the field versus 22 when you're scrimmaging yourself. But the reps themselves for well, now you're not developing as many players because one guy's concerned about development, one guy's concerned about injury risk. Like, pick a side. The actual reps you're getting when you're going against somebody else, now depending on who that opponent is, I would personally, if someone wants to go against Northern Iowa, that's fine. If you want to go against Georgia, in other words, you want to maybe go down a level or go up a level, that's all fine. Personally, I would find a school that I think is equivalent to us where we're currently at right now, and I would go against them. I would not do a rival or a Big Ten team because then practices can turn into gigantic WWE matches of fisticuffs, although these would be real, unlike the predetermined WWE matches. But my point is simply the reps themselves would be more quality reps without the injury risk going up. There, I asked you if we needed to diatribe it, and I just diatribed it. You got any other final thoughts on that before we move on? Rule likes it. Most coaches like it. Get rid of the post-spring portal window so we don't have to worry about poaching players. Anything else, Jake?
Yeah, no, and I think, too, I think sometimes we get like this view of like Matt Rule anti-spring game because they're taking it down or whatever. That doesn't mean he's anti-competition. It's all that concern, I think. And they've mentioned injuries before as being part of it, but I think that the majority of that is the concern of the poaching players, after that spring window. So it makes more sense. I think some people might have thought, he's on the other side of this, but this is a different or separate than why they're not having the spring game this season.
That's a good point. It has nothing to do with not wanting competition. It's nothing to do with that. All right, Rule. Okay. I think Rule hinted at this or flat out said it at a press conference either in January or I think it was January. Rule says he expects us to have one of the best D lines around this year. Now, he's there every day. He sees them. Says Elijah Judy is 300 pounds. We were concerned about some of the weights of some of the players yesterday. Obviously, it seems like they put on some weight. That is one of my biggest question marks. Not because of a lack of ability. No, we've got ability up front. We got guys with athleticism. We've got guys who can move. One of the question marks we asked yesterday on the show is like, what'd you say, Keona Davis? The last listed weight he had was like 260 or something? I think that's what you mentioned yesterday.
Yeah, it was.
We don't have an updated weight, but apparently he must be bigger. It's the you haven't done it yet. Which, to be clear, doesn't mean you can't do it. Just means you haven't done it yet. Your opportunity is upcoming. Your opportunity to show us that you can do it day in and day out, be consistent, and be good consistently over time is upcoming. Just hasn't happened yet. But we haven't seen it yet. Kind of like when Rocco Spindler says Nebraska is more talented than Notre Dame. Okay, I got to see it on the field. When it comes to the defensive line, I've never questioned the talent or ability, just not proven yet. Matt Rule's seeing something. I want to believe it. I'm not saying I don't believe it. What I'm saying is we're day 2 of spring, you haven't put on pads yet. How can he be so definitive? That's my question. How can he be so definitive? Because this is like at least the second time he said something similar to this. Jake, give me the answer here. I want the answer. Give me the answer.
Well, I mean,
what's going on?
He said last year that he wants Riley Van Poppel. He thinks redshirting him. Part of that decision is to turn him into the next Ty Robinson. Apparently, they probably feel pretty good about how Riley Van Poppel is coming along there. But he's had a high belief in what they're doing here. Obviously, we do. I'm kind of torn between two thoughts there, which is one, I think that at some point we're going to miss and maybe have undervalued what Ty and Nash did for Nebraska. And then on the other hand, you want to say, at least, maybe they've been preparing behind them. It's not like they've just been sitting around. Well, we got these guys. Well, no, you've got to obviously prepare for the future. And that's what they've done to build this here. So while we're kind of like, well, they don't have this, they don't have that. They've been planning to have this and that all along. And so they feel a little bit better. And I go back to something you said, which was, I think it was Matt Rule's first year, it was a couple of years ago, one way or the other, where it was a similar situation. There just wasn't a whole lot returning on the defensive line. So we're all kind of going, well, that's going to kind of be a big question mark. And it ended up being a big strength for Nebraska that season.
I thought they were the strength of the team that year.
Yeah.
Like not just the strength of the defense. I thought they were the strength of the team. Remember, the offense was not great that year. So if you're the strength of the defense at that point, you're probably the strength of the entire freaking team as well. So every year, because this isn't the NFL, you don't keep Patrick Mahomes around for 15 years or all these guys for 5 years. By the way, the average NFL career is 2.7 years. So there's a lot of turnover in the NFL as well. But my point is simply, like, guys cycle in and out because they go on. They go on to the NFL. Your eligibility, although it seems different now, does not actually last forever. Okay, with COVID, and now you can go play JUCO for 84 years and D2 for 92 years and come in with 0 years of eligibility actually used up in Division I. It seems different, but eventually you got to cycle out. Somebody else has to step up. So every year there's unproven guys. Doesn't mean they're not good football players. Just means they haven't been able to prove it yet. Now's your opportunity. Let's step up. I talked about it yesterday. The top 4 odds-on favorites to win the national title next year: Texas, Ohio State, Oregon, Georgia, all have brand new quarterbacks and all have less than 50% of their returning production, yet they're the top 4 favorite teams in America to win the national title. I'm going to have to trust Rule on this because they brought in no more additional defensive linemen lately, much like the running back room. I'm going to have to say, Rule, I think everybody knows we would love a little bit more depth on the O-line. I wouldn't be shocked if we brought in another tackle somewhere. I'm not saying we have to. We'll see how the spring unfolds, how guys look. But that wouldn't shock me. But there's been zero action on the D-line in the running back room. You're going to have to trust Rule on this. All right. The defensive line is talented. Not a ton of experience, as we know. But Rule's been fairly bullish on this. We shall see what happens every year. There's young guys, there's unproven guys who step up and play a lot in college football because that's part of the game. Rule wants former players and media to interact with players and activities during the Husker games. Spring game replacement weekend. And then he says he wants to see Steve Sipple catch a punt. I put out a tweet a while back where I said I wanted to see Steve Sipple run the option. Hey, what happened to the media flag football game, by the way? What happened to that? I'm calling out where'd the media flag football game go? Jake, where'd it go? Did you have something to do with this?
No. They must have had. They had it at least as on the itinerary, and then once they officially released it, they removed it. So looks like it just didn't make the cut.
I want to see who reached out to Rule and said we're not doing this. Which person did it? Who did it? I want to see Sipple running the option or catching a punt. I want to see Sam McEwen running a vertical route, catching the deep ball. I want to see Mitch Sherman. I was going to say pancake block somebody, but it's probably if it's flag football, there's none of that. I want to see Mitch Sherman. I want to talk about his angle of pursuit when he's on defense trying to get the flag. Come on, man. Where'd the media flag football game go? All right, but he does want former players and media to interact with current players at the Husker games. By the way, Vershawn's been invited. Terrell's been invited. I have not been invited to do anything at these games yet.
Uh-oh.
I'm putting it out there. Whoever's in charge, whoever that is, I'm calling you out. And if I don't get invited, that's cool. That's cool. I will explain that I wasn't invited. I will let people know because people will be like, Adam, where are you at? You chicken? No, I'm excited to be there. Ask Jake. The minute I found out about these things, it was literally live on air. I was really excited. So I don't know where the invite is, but whoever's in charge of this, I'm calling you out. I'm just saying. And if I don't get it, hey, no hard feelings. I will just explain everything to folks. I'll just let the people, this microphone works and I'll let the folks know. I'm just saying. If I get an invite, I will be there in a heartbeat. All right. Anything else so far that we got? I know Emmett's talking. I got some things from Emmett. All right. Rule not happy with how some media portrayed his comments about quarterback Dylan Raiola at his last press conference. Rule reemphasized Raiola can't play at 240, not that he was 240. Did you feel people unfairly covered that? I mean, we talked about it here. Yeah. I was very gentle and delicate with it, but at the end of the day, if you're an elite athlete, supposed to be an elite athlete, getting paid millions of freaking dollars more than anybody else on the entire team, I think it's fair to expect you to be in tip-top shape. I mean, we didn't attack his weight, but it's fair to expect you to be in tip-top shape, right?
Yeah, I think so. And I mean, I'll just put it this way. If you say the guy's 230 or 240 and we all don't go, what? He doesn't look like that at all. You know what I mean? Like
he put 240 out there. I'm going to say it. That's on him.
Yeah. So it's not it. You know, I didn't. That's just kind of. It felt like he was trying to say something through the media, and so maybe. I mean, he says a lot of things. Not every some things can be misconstrued. I'm sure.
Yeah.
But I don't. Sometimes you go, oh, bad media. I don't know if I can go, oh, bad media here.
Bad media. I'm going to spank you like a 4-year-old at Walmart
Right.
media. I'm not just rapidly talking like I'm like thinking about this, and I'm like, you're the one who put 240 out there. I mean, you said the words, he can't play at 240. The guy's a public speaker as well as a football coach. Like, he does public speaking events. Like, how did you think it was going to be received? There are times when I think you have to decipher through the coach speak, because Matt Rule's a really good public speaker, to get through the meat of things sometimes. I love his honesty, and I think he's phenomenal with a microphone in front of his face. I love a lot of things, and there's times I agree, there's times I disagree. Throughout this offseason, I've agreed with him way more often than not when it comes to the D-line and running back room. I'm just going to trust him. When it comes to this, I disagree. You put it out there. He can't play at 240. Okay, well, what do you think people are going to do with that? Well, he must be 215. He must be 280. So I'm just going to gently and respectfully and vehemently disagree with bad media. I like that. Bad media. All right. We still got a few minutes here left in this segment. And here's an actual quote. And I quote, I think we're going to have one of the best D-lines around. Rule set on reloading the defensive line. All right. There you go. Doubles down. All right. So we can get to, let's see here. We can get to Emmett's comments after when we come back. But I've seen Dylan at the practice, and he looks slimmer. So I think I just put it out on social media. And I'll tell you why I worded it this exact way. Because what I found is it's not what you say in life, it's how you say it. I specifically said Dylan Raiola looks slimmer this first week of spring ball. There are things in there for a reason. I didn't say slim. I said slimmer. I didn't put a weight for a reason. And I said this first week of spring ball. Because if he comes back in 3 weeks and he looks like he's 240, I can come back if somebody tries to call me out and I can say, well, that's what he looked like the first week. Or if he comes back and looks like he's 200, I doubt if he'd go, that'd be a little too far. I don't think he's going to go too far. But like I worded things in here specifically this way for a reason. Dylan Raiola looks slimmer. I didn't say slim. I didn't say anything. I said slimmer. And then one guy's like, well, I want to see he looks fit. Okay, how particular are you going to get on exact wording? All right, this first week of spring ball, the first week. Weight goes up and down over time. Does that make sense? Does that make sense why I explained that?
Yeah.
Like how you word things matters. Okay, it's not what you say, it's how you say it 90% of the time. Dylan Raiola looks slimmer, and here's why that matters. Okay, because he needs to have a little bit quicker feet. He needs to be a little bit more nimble in the pocket. He needs to be a little quicker when he does take off. I actually think he's a little faster than most people realize. And when he lowers the shoulder, which, by the way, got to learn how to slide, when to slide, all those good things, when to run out of bounds. When he lowers the shoulder, the more fit, to me, like slimmer, fit. Another way of saying that is proper musculature. You lower the shoulder, you're going to bring a little bit more boom. Even if you don't have as much weight, a little bit more boom because you're going fast, you got a little bit more muscle behind it. So I think Dylan Raiola looks slimmer, and I think it's a great start to this spring as well. All right, before we go to break, I had kind of talked about this, and then we got to call Tyson Terry at 12:30. Excited for that interview. What do you think of that interview? Excited, Jake?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Talk about a good day for wrestling.
Dude. All right. Should we be concerned about the 500-mile radius recruiting and in-state recruiting? All right, as we know, Jet Tamala quarterback at Millard South, the number one state, and then we're recruiting the state of Nebraska, predicted to commit to Iowa State. His only official visit is to Iowa State on June 6th. No offer from Nebraska. Next, Darian Jones, cornerback at Omaha North, predicted to commit to Iowa State. Official visit to Iowa State on June 13th. No offer from Nebraska. Amarian Jackson, wide receiver from Millard South, hard commit to Iowa State. Get out of our land, Iowa State. And maybe we should defend our land more. Caprice Keith, athlete out of Central, hard commit to Iowa State. Rule has never missed out on the number one prospect in the state of Nebraska. With roster sizes shrinking, it may look like recruiting Nebraska may no longer be the top priority like it was his first 2 years as head coach. Nebraska only has 6 in-state offers combined for the classes of 2026, 27, and 28. Looks like Rule still wants to go after kids within the 500-mile radius, but they are heavily recruiting out of Missouri, Kansas City. They've got obvious connections there. All right. And with the walk-ons being out of the picture, are you concerned about this at all? To clarify what I said earlier, the 500-mile radius still seems to be important, but not in-state recruiting. 6 total offers for 2026, 27, 28. You know his first 2 years, his first 2 recruiting classes, he's had 8 guys from Nebraska sign with the Huskers each of his first 2 years here at Nebraska. The last time Nebraska, the most they've ever had in one class is 8, and the last time they had that before Rule was 1998. Are you concerned about this at all?
A little bit. I think because of obviously the transfer portal era, I think it does lessen your concern about just high school recruiting, for a few different reasons. Obviously you can patch holes, but the other thing is guys move around so much. If you get them in high school, or how many of them are going to stay through the end of their tenure? But Yeah, I mean, it's always interesting, but I also kind of, I mean, the one thing people don't want to say, because we're all drinking the Kool-Aid and getting excited, but this is kind of a boom or bust year. And so I think if Nebraska booms, then I think we're going to see, obviously the recruiting step up behind that. Obviously, if Nebraska busts, then you've got your own other problems to worry about. So it's going to be interesting to see if there also is a possibility, just kind of maintain, go 7-6, and then, maybe this deal would be a little bit bigger as well, but and would be harder to recover from. So I think it's a little bit of a concern, but you just had one of the top transfer portal classes in the country. If you go back to when he originally came in and said, I want to build this through the high school ranks, and then your whole plan's being thrown off. But it does appear Nebraska's transitioning a little bit more, like many schools are, to a transfer portal heavy school, I suppose.
I have always we'll go to a break in a minute, and then we'll bring on Tyson Terry. I have always said you start with Nebraska. Well, there has to be good players in the state of Nebraska. I didn't say I wanted every Nebraska high school kid. I said I wanted the good players from the state of Nebraska that deserve to have offers. The number one kid in the state of Nebraska is going to Iowa State right now. 4-star quarterback. Okay. 2, go to basketball. 2 of the 5 first-team All-ACC performers were from frickin' Omaha. Remind me the Notre Dame defender you referenced earlier, an All-American.
Xavier Watts.
Out of Omaha. You start with Nebraska, 500-mile radius, you move out. We'll see what happens. This is something I've never wavered from. Never wavered from. I never said you got to sign 8 to 12 to X amount of guys out of Nebraska. But if there's, let's say, 8 D1 players out of Nebraska, by God, you should be going after all of them. And then the 500-mile radius, and then you go to Texas and get your beef, and you go to Florida and you get your speed, and you go wherever else you need. But it means more to guys who are, it doesn't mean what it used to because we haven't won like we used to. But if we start winning, and even without it, there are still kids whose dream is to play at Nebraska. It means more to people who are from here or close to from here. I mean, Grant Wistrom, Missouri, Trev Alberts, Iowa. That radius, I'm just saying. All right, when we come back, we'll bring on Tyson Terry.
Hog Wild's giant stuffed baked potatoes are anything but basic and really hit the spot when you're craving a little comfort food. Nothing is more satisfying than a Hog Wild baked potato loaded with butter, sour cream, cheddar cheese, bacon bits, and chives. Add your choice of a Hog Wild house-smoked meat like pulled pork, chicken, or brisket for a little extra. Order online at GoHogWild.com. Hog Wild Pit Barbecue, 3210 Cornhusker Highway in Lincoln.
But don't be late, we close at 8.
What's going on, fans? This is Lexi Rodriguez, 4-time All-American at Nebraska and now proud member of Omaha's newest professional team, Love Omaha Volleyball. League One Volleyball is bringing the heat this year. Don't miss your chance to see Olympians, national players, and national champions right here in Omaha from now through April. We can't wait to see you cheering us on in the stands. Visit lovboma.com to buy single match tickets to see me and Love Omaha Volleyball in action this season. Go Big Green!
At Farm Bureau Financial Services, we strive to provide you with the right coverages for all your insurance needs by taking the time to meet with you and review what coverages best fit your needs. So whether you're in the market for home, auto, farm, business, life, or a combination of any of these coverages, we can help with making sure you, your family, or your business have the right coverage based on your individual needs. If you would like to review your insurance needs, please contact Ben Spurt with Farm Bureau Financial Services at 402-217-9945 or through email at ben.spurt@fbfs.com.
Lincoln's go-to for fun isn't new. It's a place that's been a staple of the city for years and is only getting better. Matson's Bowling and Billiards always has open bowling available with no long lines unlike other centers. They have live music almost every weekend and great food at EJ's Bar and Lounge with seating for 150 people. They have popular meals like the EJ Burger, pizza for the whole family, and famous EJ's Wings. Contact Sarah to book a party for friends, coworkers, or family at Matson's Bowling and Billiards just south of 48th and Holdridge.
Your home is your empire. Protect it with Empire Fence. Get a free instant quote with the online estimating tool at empire-fence.com. See an upfront estimate with no hidden fees. An Empire Fence can provide privacy and improve the appearance of your home. Keep kids and pets in or out of your yard. Increase security and add value to your property. Visit empire-fence.com now to view the stylish and maintenance-free possibilities for your home and get a free instant online quote. Let Empire Fence protect your empire.
Do you need a urologist? At Urology Partners of Nebraska, we understand the urgency of your health. That's why we offer appointments within 48 hours. Although we're new to the community, our team brings years of experience and expertise to provide you with the best care possible. From vasectomies to kidney stones, we've got you covered for all your urology health concerns. Call 402-413-2800 today and experience the difference at Urology Partners of Nebraska.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait. Apply now.
McKinney's Irish Pub in the Haymarket is your place for English Premier League soccer. On Tuesday, April 1st, Wolves plays West Ham at 1:45 p.m., followed by Nottingham Forest versus Man United at 2 p.m. On Wednesday, April 2nd, Newcastle plays Brentford at 1:45 a.m., followed by Liverpool versus Everton at 2 p.m. Liverpool currently leads the standings with 70 points. You can find all this and more at McKinney's Irish Pub in the Haymarket, your place for English Premier League soccer, located at 8th and P.
LES wants your feedback. Help shape your electric utilities direction and priorities by taking an anonymous online survey. Make your voice heard before the survey closes on April 30th at les.com/survey.
Salt Mine City is not only Lincoln's newest brewery, but they're also now serving food. Enjoy a full menu of great items daily for lunch and dinner, like their peanut butter and jelly burger with bacon and cheddar cheese, or a Reuben sandwich served on Blackstone rye bread. Don't forget their beef or chicken nachos with guacamole, sour cream, jalapenos, and more. Wash it down with one of their 12 beers on tap, including the popular single-axle light American lager. Salt Mine City, now open 11 a.m. every day but Mondays at 8th and R.
Imagine a healthier, more active, physically fit version of yourself. If you've been putting off getting into shape, now is the time with the Farrell's Extreme Body Shaping 10-Week Challenge. Our program combines kickboxing, strength training, and nutrition coaching to help you achieve your fitness goals. And ticket listeners, you can get $150 off your enrollment. The next 10-week challenge begins on April 12th. You can get all the info at fxblincoln.com. Don't wait any longer. Farrell's Extreme Body Shaping at 40th and Yankee Hill and 70th and Vine.
John Henry's has a brand new membership club to protect your entire home in one program. With a VIP and a deluxe option, we will help you find the plan that best fits your needs. Receive discounts on services and equipment, priority service, complimentary inspections, and so much more. Protect your home's plumbing, heating, cooling, and electrical systems all in one membership. Call John Henry's to learn more.
435-5555. John Henry's Plumbing, Heating and Air.
And electrical.
This is the Adam Carriker Show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Adam Carriker on the Ticket. The Adam Carriker Show. It used to be Adam Carriker on the Ticket, the Adam Carriker Show. Before we bring on our special guest, Mr. Tyson Terry. All right, if you haven't done so yet or you have questions about the Carriker Chronicles inaugural youth football camp, K through 8th, boys and girls, autographs and T-shirts are included on July 9th, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. here in Lincoln, Nebraska. You can get all your questions answered at carrikerchronicles.com. The camp will be featuring Heisman Trophy winner, College Football Hall of Famer Eric Crouch, Green Bay Packers Hall of Famer and all-time leading rusher and two-time national champ Amon Green, yours truly as well, and more Husker legends to follow. I've got a plethora of texts out at the moment. It's going to be exciting, ladies and gentlemen. And I had somebody ask, well, there's no lineman. Well, first of all, I'm a lineman. Okay. Like, what? She's like, I don't want to sign up my kid. He's a lineman. Well, I'm a lineman. Also, there's something for everybody. If you're a beginner, somebody asked me, is this good for kids in kindergarten? Yeah. Like, the earlier you learn fundamentals, the better. Okay. So it's going to be a fun experience, an amazing experience. It's going to be high energy, high enthusiasm. But if you're someone who's been doing it for a while, hey, Amon, Eric, they played at the highest of highest levels. You want to take your game to the next level, the Carriker Chronicles football camp. All right, check it out at carrikerchronicles.com to get more information and or registered. Now, it's time to bring on our special guest. He's going to be a Nebraska defensive lineman. undefeated high school state champion, and won the state championship with a torn ACL. Mr. Tyson Terry, how you doing, my friend?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Dude, I'm glorious. I'm going to ask right out the gate. Continuing to wrestle with the ACL, winning the state championship with the torn ACL. Talk to me about that decision. There had to be a decision moment. What am I going to do? And then after that moment, like, how did the knee feel while you're doing all this?
Yeah. I mean, that's what, walking off the field, I guess for me, I've kind of been through, some injuries and stuff like that. And, the first thing that came to mind, because I, heard it back in October during a game. And so first thing that was on my mind was, state wrestling, being a 4-time state champ. That's just something that I've always, dreamed of, always, worked towards for, growing up and everything like that. And so, it was a huge decision. I know that, Coach Knighton, prior to, him leaving Nebraska, he wanted me to get the surgery, but also, it was my decision, at the end of the day, but, it was a huge decision. It was kind of, we took a few weeks, just talk about it with me, my family, because, that, I mean, it's a big decision. ACL, you can obviously, hurt other ligaments or other tendons, in your knee. And so, I guess, the decision for that was just that I'm never going to get this chance back, being a 4-time state champ in wrestling in high school. And so, at the end of the day, it was just, I met with a few different doctors, got their opinions, and kind of came down to, got to one doctor that actually was tied, had ties with Nebraska and their athletic, team. And so, we did a month of rehab. And so, at first I was like, man, I really don't know if I'll be able to wrestle. But, as we started doing rehab back into that, it really felt good. And so we did a month of rehab and got back with the doctor, and he said, everything looks good. I mean, it was crazy as it seems. And so I actually did another month of rehab. And so, just doing those 2 months of rehab before I even, started to wrestle and get back on the mat, I think it changed, a lot. I was able to, strengthen some muscles, around the knee and just, give it the support that it needed. Obviously I'm not a, small guy. So, it was a lot to think in. And then also like graduating early, at the end of the day, I kind of wanted to, wrestle, like I said before, I'm not going to get that chance back ever again. And so, I don't regret, not graduating early and going down there. And so I think at the end of the day, I chose the thing that I wanted. I accomplished it. And so, going through that process, it was hard because, it was just like, man, do I hurt my knee more or, whatever. And so, it was super stressful, I guess, just because I was constantly thinking about it, in the room and during practice, I had a brace on and then had, a compression sleeve on. And obviously when I competed too, I had that on. And so, that kind of helped me, I guess, with my mental state, just not thinking about it. But it was obviously still, in the back of my head, like this thing, I'm not the same, wrestler that I was, if I'm 100%, but, I think that was just our mindset going into it. Was like, okay, I'm wrestling now. It's not an excuse. We got to put that behind us. And so I kind of had to, change my wrestling style up a little bit just because I wasn't able to do, some of the things that I was. And so, I think it was just kind of trusting the process, just throughout the whole thing. And in the end, it just, as I continued to wrestle, I just was more comfortable, and didn't think about it as much, and so that helped a lot.
So the knee now, do you still need surgery with all that? Like, I feel kind of silly asking this question because you hear a torn ACL and you just assume a surgery is needed. Do you still need to have surgery? And what are you able to do at the moment?
Yeah. So actually I did get surgery, March 5th. So I got, a total, ACL reconstruction. And then they sewed a part of my meniscus back down. So, Wednesday or tomorrow will be 3 weeks. So 3 weeks, out of surgery. So, I mean, rehab's been going good and, it's feeling good.
So I assume you'll be redshirting this first season then as you recover and rehab and do everything else with the knee. Is that correct?
Yes, yeah, that is the plan, and just focusing on getting back 100% healthy.
Are you currently enrolled at Nebraska? Or are you still finishing high school?
So yeah, I'm finishing high school. That was the thing is if I'm going to wrestle, then I can graduate early and go down in May for this summer. So yeah, I'm still in high school and then just gonna go down in the summer.
Well, obviously, Tyson, it was a very exciting year for you to cap that off and get your fourth title there. It's been a very exciting week for Nebraska wrestling. So I got to ask, is there any chance we'll see you at Nebraska wrestling at all?
It was really exciting to see, the Nebraska wrestling. I kind of grew up wrestling with Antro Taylor. So that was, it was amazing just to see him win a national title. And then Nebraska, they were balling, wrestling just all around. They had 8 All-Americans. And so it was a really, really fun weekend to watch them. But, for me, I think I'm focused on football. I'd be, open to maybe just training in the off season, staying in shape and stuff like that. But I don't look to compete at all.
Talk to me about new defensive line coach Terry Brad and what your interactions with him have been like, and what is your impressions of him at this early stage?
Yeah. I mean, I love Coach Brad and everything that he says. I haven't met him face to face yet. I plan on doing that here soon, these upcoming weeks at a spring practice or something. But one of the first things that he said to me was, we're going to lead the Big Ten in effort, and I think that's kind of a big thing for me is only you can control your effort, and so I think everything that he says and everything that he's for, just with his experience. I mean, it's just it's amazing. I'm ready to play for him, and so it's kind of just it's been a little different, just kind of getting to build that new relationship with him, just with the relationship that me and Coach Knighton have built over the past 2 years, and so just rebuilding that relationship with him, it's been awesome. He's checked in on me with my surgery and everything during wrestling, and so all my talks and everything with him have been amazing.
So Matt Rule talked about today in the presser, and I'm going to quote him, "I think we're going to have one of the best D lines around," end quote. When you hear Coach Rule say something like that, I mean, what's your reaction to that? Do you get excited? Do you what are your thoughts when you hear Coach Rule say something like that about your position group specifically?
No, yeah, I mean, it's really exciting, it just because, it starts up front, offensive line and defensive line. I think, defensive line, you got to have some physical, nasty dudes up front. And so, just for him to, say that, I just get pumped up, thinking about it. And so, same thing with Coach Rule. He was behind me on wrestling. It was my decision, and so that just earned my just more respect, towards Coach Rule and in our relationship. And so, with him saying that, it's just I'm ready to play for him, ready to play for Coach Brad, and just ready to play for the Huskers.
Well, it's interesting, Tyson, too, is that, usually when you're a defensive lineman at the Power 5 level, a lot of guys have to redshirt anyway. So, and then, kind of add in the weight room and get ready to go, get up to kind of that Big Ten type of size and such. Are you kind of embracing that as part of knowing the injury that it was there is kind of, okay, you know what, this maybe gives me an opportunity to take the most chance that I can to, kind of get Big Ten ready while taking a redshirt year. Some people look at redshirting as a bad thing or something, can be frustrating. Obviously, you want to play on the field, but it also can be used as an opportunity to get quite a bit better.
No, yeah, for sure. I think I see it as, an opportunity just to, get back 100%, make sure I'm ready to go. Obviously, get that Big Ten size. And I think for me, I'm excited to just kind of, get in the program, learn about the defense, and just kind of sit back and, have that extra year of just a learning experience. I think it's pretty amazing. I mean, obviously, I would love to go out there and play, as a freshman, but, just with the situation and the injury, I think it's just, focusing on, kind of fine tuning some things and, getting in the weight room and focusing on that. And then just, like I said, just kind of, learn about the defense, being around the coaches and the culture more. And so I think, for me, I'm excited, just to, get down there, but also, I'm going to take this red shirt, with the most, soak in everything. And so, I think that's, the big thing for me is I'll be able to learn, kind of sit back and just get used to the program, I guess, if that makes any sense.
That makes perfect sense. It's after fall camp, my freshman year, the coaches asked me, I don't know if they cared about what I thought, but they asked me, do you want a red shirt or not? They at least asked me, and I remember chatting with my dad. His answer has stuck with me. He goes, Adam, if you redshirt, you'd be trading your worst season of football. Not that it'd be bad, but your least effective season of football for your best. Basically, when you're the youngest versus an additional season when you're older, bigger, faster, stronger, and smarter. And so that was one of the main reasons. That always stuck with me. That's one of the main reasons I decided to redshirt. And if I'm being honest, there was 3 seniors and 2 juniors in front of me as well. So that might have been a factor too. All right, last question, my man. When it comes to a Nebraska kid, you're from Omaha, playing for the Huskers. There are some folks who don't think it matters as much to today's high school players. There are some that think it matters the same. I get the sense, chatting with you, like you said, I'm ready to play for the Huskers. I get the feeling like it means more to you. What does it mean to you to come play football at the University of Nebraska?
Yeah, I mean, it means a lot. Obviously, me growing up and, how, what I've seen with the Huskers, they haven't, been like the 90s or, some, things like that. And, it's always been talk of, getting back there, winning championships. But just growing up, going to some games, when I was younger and just kind of, it was just the Huskers, I guess, and it was like, we don't have any pro teams here, and that's what everybody, is Nebraska football. And so, just being able to, get the opportunity and then, obviously commit and sign and everything like that. It means a lot for me. My family, we come from a big football family. And so, it really does mean a lot. The Huskers, close to home, homegrown, I guess. And so, just playing for the Huskers, it just, like I said, it means a lot. I'm excited. I think, the mentality that, I'm going to bring is what I think Matt Rule is kind of changed, the culture and just kind of the mentality down there. And so, I think it kind of fits well with me and, just ready to go and ready to bang and scrap and, you don't really care, and so, just playing for the Huskers, it means a lot. For me, it's just kind of growing up watching them and, trying to get back to winning those championships.
All right, Tyson, I appreciate you taking the time to join us, and I look forward to seeing you when you get down here to Lincoln.
Oh, yeah, I appreciate you guys having me on.
All right, don't go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. When we come back, we're going to talk Nebraska's running back room. Matt Rule is very confident in that running back room, and we've got some folks who think Nebraska's wide receivers could potentially be the E word, elite. We'll see what happens. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
I'm softball player Jordy Ball, and I'm proud of my Nebraska roots, and I'm proud to be back home. And at Midwest Bank, they're proud to be your local community bank. They believe in family first, taking initiative, showing integrity, and rolling up their sleeves to support their local communities. They treat everyone like family, no matter where you're from. Whether you walk into a branch in York, Lincoln, Norfolk, or Pierce, you know you're going to be welcomed with a smile. Your community, your bank, Midwest Bank.
Fleet Feet Lincoln is excited for the upcoming spring season and the warmer temps, and they want you to get outside and be active. Fleet Feet's Fit ID process takes a free 3D image of your feet to help runners and walkers alike find comfortable tennis shoes and inserts that ease pain associated with plantar fasciitis, bunions, and more. Get back on your feet this spring with a trip to Fleet Feet, open 7 days a week at 77th and Pioneers. Spring is the time of new beginnings and trying new things. If you haven't tried Führer's cheese spread yet, the time is now. For parties for St. Patrick's Day and Easter or celebrating the NCAA tournament with friends, there's no better dip to bring everyone together and celebrate something from Nebraska. Get to your local grocery store today and load up on Führer's cheese spread. No event or party is complete without it on your table.
I'm Chief Dave Engler. When a fire truck hits a pothole with 12 tons of fast-moving equipment and crew, it's a problem. On your ballot in April is a measure to continue Lincoln's quarter-cent sales tax for street improvements. A vote against eliminates the street funding. A vote for will not raise your taxes and keeps the funding in place. And better roads means faster response times. Learn more at LincolnOnTheMove.com.
We use our Lincoln streets every day, and so do first responders. But visitors and out-of-town commuters also do. A 1/4-cent sales tax for streets passed by voters in 2019 makes those commuters pay about $6 million a year to improve streets. On your ballot in April is a measure to continue it. A vote against means no more funds from commuters. A vote for will not raise your taxes, and commuters still pay. Learn more at LincolnOnTheMove.com. Paid for by the City of Lincoln.
What's going on, fans? This is Lexi Rodriguez, 4-time All-American at Nebraska and now proud member of Omaha's newest professional team, Love Omaha Volleyball. League One Volleyball is bringing the heat this year. Don't miss your chance to see Olympians, national players, and national champions right here in Omaha from now through April. We can't wait to see you cheering us on in the stands. Visit lovboma.com to buy single match tickets to see me and Love Omaha Volleyball in action this season. Go Big Green!
Hog Wild's giant sub baked potatoes are anything but basic and really hit the spot when you're craving a little comfort food. Nothing is more satisfying than a Hog Wild baked potato loaded with butter, sour cream, cheddar cheese, bacon bits, and chives. Add your choice of a Hog Wild house smoked meat like pulled pork, chicken, or brisket for a little extra. Order online at GoHogWild.com. Hog Wild Pit Barbecue, 3210 Cornhusker Highway in Lincoln.
But don't be late, we close at 8.
Psst. You know what's better than waking up early to go to the airport? Sleeping in. Lucky for you, the lines at the Lincoln Airport are so short and our service is so fast. You won't need to sacrifice precious beauty sleep to get here hours before your flight. So, go ahead. Sleep in. You deserve it. And choose the airport that helps you relax. LNK. Make flying easy.
93.7 The Ticket. Fox KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Your Lincoln forecast for today. We'll see mainly sunny skies and it will be breezy. The afternoon high around 67. Tonight, partly cloudy skies and light winds, a low near 37. And tomorrow, we'll see mostly sunny skies and light winds. The afternoon high around 67. Immediate dollars is kind of collected for 93.7 The Ticket. And ticketfm.com.
Do you need a urologist? At Urology Partners of Nebraska, we understand the urgency of your health. That's why we offer appointments within 48 hours. Although we're new to the community, our team brings years of experience and expertise to provide you with the best care possible. From vasectomies to kidney stones, we've got you covered for all your urology health concerns. Call 402-413-2800 today and experience the difference at Urology Partners of Nebraska.
LES wants your feedback. Help shape your electric utility's direction and priorities by taking an anonymous online survey. Make your voice heard before the survey closes on April 30th at les.com/survey.
Lincoln's go-to for fun isn't new. It's a place that's been a staple of the city for years and is only getting better. Matson's Bowling and Billiards always has open bowling available with no long lines unlike other centers. They have live music almost every weekend and great food at EJ's Bar and Lounge. With seating for 150 people. They have popular meals like the EJ Burger, pizza for the whole family, and famous EJ's Wings. Contact Sarah to book a party for friends, coworkers, or family at Matson's Bowling and Billiards just south of 48th and Holdridge.
The electrical workers of Local Union 265 are now hiring licensed journeyman electricians from $32.50 to $42.50 per hour with paid benefits. And if you're looking for a new career, they're hiring apprentices at $19.50 per hour with paid benefits. Call the office at 402-423-4497 to apply. Start your electrical career today.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait. Apply now.
This is the Adam Carriker Show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Boom! Welcome Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Adam Carriker Show here on 93.7 The Ticket. A couple of interesting, rather large non-Husker news, and we'll dive into the final thoughts on the press conference. Emmett Johnson, the wide receiver room, are they elite? We'll see what happens. But Jake informed me during the commercial break that Andrew Luck is now the new GM at Stanford. And what's the first thing he did? He fired their head coach. You know, the head coach was in on the head coaches are in on the hiring processes of the GM in college football. So he gets hired and then he fires him. And then I got to be honest, I fancy myself somewhat knowledgeable on the general world of college football. I go, Jake, who is the head coach out there at Stanford? Who is it?
Troy Taylor.
And then Jake during the break was very nice. He goes, well, the fact that you don't know probably, maybe that's the reason he got let go as well. Probably not a good sign. All right. Also, the NFL has announced that Under Armour has become the league's new official footwear and glove partner. Kind of a big deal. Also, there were 4 guys who started Under Armour. Where I lived before, we lived on the same lake as Ryan Wood. He was one of the 4 guys that started Under Armour. And when I found that out, I was like, I don't know about that. You get to know Ryan. I thought he'd be kind of, I'm just going to be blunt, a little prissy, little prima donna, all this. No, he's like this old school fullback. He actually played at Arizona State, played in the league. And he helped coach my son's 4th grade youth football team. Dude, this dude was like old school, down to earth, wanted zero attention. He did not want attention. I actually really, really liked him. But I know one of the 4 people that started Under Armour. Now, he got out a long time ago, sold his stake, did rather well with that stake, I might add, or what he got paid for it. But I thought that was interesting. All right. Couple of things real quick. We got to move quickly. Emmett Johnson said, and I quote, I don't just want to be a running back. Let me see. Emmett Johnson said, what he's worked on over the offseason, I feel like I'm a weapon. End quote. I like that. I'm a weapon of mass destruction. I threw in mass destruction. I like that, though. All right, Matt Rule in the Nebraska running backs room this spring, and I quote, I don't think that's a position where we feel we need to go out and do something. End quote. It should be noted he speaks highly of Quentin Ives. The opportunity just hasn't been there. Rule says Mekhi Nelson is dynamically fast, someone we have not talked about enough here on the show. We will change that in the future. Important to note as well, newcomers Connor Booth, Jameer Parker, who have already added more than 15 pounds during their time in Lincoln. I hope that's not the freshman 15, but I think we know what he means. That is why they have not addressed the running back room at all. You've got Ives, who we've known for a long time they've liked. Mekhi Nelson, who is dynamically fast. We need to talk about him more. All right. The running back room and the D-line room. 2 of the things that we've said on this show, you just got to trust Matt Rule on, because to us, it's a little bit of question mark when it comes to depth in the running back room, and just haven't done it yet on the D-line room. Doesn't mean they can't do it. I look forward to seeing them do it. Now, the wide receivers room. Nebraska safety Marcus Buford Jr. on the Huskers wide receiver. And I quote, our receiver room is elite. He didn't stop there, Jake. Comma, to say the least. End quote. What's your reaction on throwing around the E word like that, Jake?
It's just in the Matt Rule program. I can't, I don't even, when he first got here and started saying that, and I would be, oh my goodness, okay, here they are, they're taking off or something. Now it's a word that gets thrown around too much or in the program, in my mind. And maybe it's to try to build them up to be that way. But what I'll say about it is that I feel, obviously he knew last year's receiving room. He's been, around the receiving room the last couple of years. So if he feels that it's at the point that he can say elite, then I do feel that he feels like it's getting better. But I'll hold off on getting too excited about the word elite.
I'm with you. I like the K word, but I'm not drinking too much of that Kool-Aid just yet. But it's hard not to start sipping. By the way, somebody sent me a thing of Matt Rule's press conference, and the thumbnail was a gigantic thing of Kool-Aid. It was like half his body and him just sipping it. And I was like, wow, somebody's having fun. As I mentioned, Emmett Johnson said he wants to be more than a running back. He wants to be a weapon. And one of the reasons he feels he can do so is because he has a perfect chance to do that in Dana Holgerson's offense. He knows Nebraska has a special place and believes in the team and teammates. And that's why he withdrew from the portal when he entered it earlier this offseason. He, too, is really excited about the wide receiver group. Interesting, brought up by 2 different players at the press conference. Emmett said he has gained 8 pounds of muscle. Raiola also has taken big steps this offseason, Emmett said. The game is slowing down a lot for a bunch of guys. And here's an interesting quote. Won't take failure as failure, but as a lesson. End quote. The Husker games will count as a scrimmage/practice as well. Other final thoughts from Buford. He loves Coach Addison, the DB's coach, feels everyone in the room could make the team, knows it sucks that a lot of guys won't be able to due to the 105 limit. Old stuff is out the window. When Coach Butler came in, a lot of new stuff, not a lot of new stuff, but the baggage, and he's excited to play for Coach Butler as well. Butler is very vocal, and they're grateful for all the guys who came back this year to stay on the team. And let's see, dissatisfied with how the secondary performed last year. I would agree with that. And have to be a whole new defense, end quote, starting with the secondary. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm taking tomorrow off. I'll see you on Thursday. Go, Big Red Noise. Remember to throw the bones.
McKinney's Irish Pub in the Haymarket is your place for English Premier League soccer. On Tuesday, April 1st, Wolves place West Ham at 1:45 p.m., followed by Nottingham Forest versus Man United at 2 p.m. On Wednesday, April 2nd, Newcastle plays Brentford at 1:45 a.m., followed by Liverpool versus Everton at 2 p.m. Liverpool currently leads the standings with 70 points. You can find all this and more at McKinney's Irish Pub in the Haymarket, your place for English Premier League soccer, located at 8th and P.
Salt Mine City is not only Lincoln's newest brewery, but they're also now serving food. Enjoy a full menu of great items daily for lunch and dinner, like their peanut butter and jelly burger with bacon and cheddar cheese, or a Reuben sandwich served on Blackstone rye bread. Don't forget their beef or chicken nachos with guacamole, sour cream, jalapenos, and more. Wash it down with one of their 12 beers on tap, including the popular Single Axle Light American Lager. Salt Mine City, now open 11 a.m. every day but Mondays at 8th and R.
What's going on, fans? This is Lexi Rodriguez, four-time All-American at Nebraska and now proud member of Omaha